So we're going to try a word problem here. And of course, I'm not going to be able to write all the parts down because I'm going to run out of room, but I'll just call them out to you as we go. So there are 78 national monuments in the U.S. 10 of these monuments are located in New Mexico. So in part A, they are going to ask us to figure out what fraction of the national monuments in the U.S. can be found in New Mexico. So we're looking at a fraction of the national monuments in the U.S. that can be found in New Mexico. So here's what happens. 10 of our monuments are in New Mexico. So if we're looking for what fraction of the national monuments in the U.S. can be found in New Mexico, we're looking at 10 out of, and we're told that there's a total of 78 national monuments, so it's going to be 10 out of 78. Now I'm going to go back to the way that I reduce fractions, which is just look for the largest number that divides into both of them. So my largest number that divides into both of them is looking like it's going to be 2. So I'm going to reduce this by dividing both of these by 2. So 10 divided by 2 is going to give me a 5. And 78 divided by 2 is a 39, and both of those numbers are prime. So it looks like the fraction of the monuments that are in the U.S. that can be found in New Mexico is 5 out of 39. Now on part B, they ask us how many of the national monuments in the U.S. are found outside of New Mexico. So if we're looking for outside of New Mexico, if there's 10 in New Mexico, 78 total, that must mean that we got to do 78 minus 10, because we're going to get rid of the 10 that's in New Mexico, and that's going to leave us with 68 possible monuments outside of New Mexico. So if we're looking for how many national monuments in the U.S. are found outside of New Mexico, that's what we're looking for. And guys, typically when they ask you to do a question like this, they're getting ready to use that part in part C, which if we go to part C, the question now says, okay, we'll write the fraction of the national monuments found in the states other than New Mexico. So what happens is if we're looking for everything but New Mexico, we're going to use our answer from part B. So I'm going to use it's going to be 68 because that's all the monuments found outside of New Mexico. And I'm going to divide that, of course, by how many monuments we had in the U.S. And that was, of course, a total of 78. And then I'm going to go back to that good old-fashioned way of reducing where I find the largest number that divides into both of them because they are both even numbers. Let's go ahead and try 2. So if I divide the top and the bottom by 2, 68 divided by 2, of course, is going to give me a 34. And 78 divided by 2 is going to give me a 39. And that is not going to reduce any lower because the only thing that goes into 34 is 1, 2, 17, 34. And of course, with 39, all we've got is 1, 3, 13, and 39. 1's the only common factor, so nothing changes. So that would be our fraction of national monuments found in the states other than New Mexico.